It's another special edition of PFTPM. We interrupt our ongoing coverage of a former Browns coach and his Hall of Fame snub. Yes, kids, once upon a time, Bill Belichick did coach the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have a new coach. Of course, they aren't the same Browns as the Browns that Belichick coached, but they're the Browns, and the Browns is the Browns, and the Browns have a coach in the form of Todd Monken, the former Ravens offensive coordinator, emerging as the winner in a process that ultimately got down to three finalists. Monken, Nate Scheelhaase, the Rams passing game coordinator, and Jim Schwartz, the three-year defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, who had the Browns defense ranked number 1 in 2023 and number 2 in 2025, just 1 yard per game behind the Houston Texans, who were regarded as the best because they were defense in the league. The Browns defense still pretty damn good. And there was a belief that Schwartz would be the one who got the job, because there's a concern if you don't hire Schwartz to be the head coach, he may not be the defensive coordinator. Now, maybe they have decided to thread the needle in a way that has Monken come in and take over the team and the offense and Schwartz stick around. Or maybe Monken won't want Schwartz there since he was a finalist for the job. It undermines his authority on the way through the door. It's going to be an interesting situation to see whether or not Schwartz remains with the Cleveland Browns. And I don't know how Browns fans are going to react. Monken does have head coaching experience at Southern Miss from 2013 through 2015. His time with the Baltimore Ravens has been, I don't know that I want to say mixed. They were 33-18 in 3 seasons with Monken there. They have done good things, but they have Lamar Jackson, a 2-time MVP, as their starting quarterback. I'm surprised. And hey, look, it's heartening to see a couple of guys on the wrong side of 55 get head coaching jobs in recent days. Mike McCarthy with the Steelers, Monken with the Browns, and John Harbaugh at 63 got the Giants head coaching job. So yes, there's an ageism issue that's percolating around the NFL, but it didn't affect the Browns. And we would have thought the Browns are going to look for the young, up-and-coming coach, somebody who embraces all things analytics. I think that's really the first takeaway here. There's nothing about Todd Monken that screams out analytics. This is more along the lines of an old-school football coach. And maybe they're going to try to blend things. Maybe this is a concession that the days of Paul DePodesta are going to begin to fade, even though there was discussion recently about the Browns process that has personality tests and essays and all sorts of the kind of data collection that you would expect an analytics-obsessed organization to engage in. But at the end of the day, there was something they liked in Todd Monken. And we already believe, I know I do, that Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the team, is very involved. Maybe as involved as Jerry Jones. He just doesn't give himself the title of general manager. And this hire doesn't happen unless it's what Jimmy Haslam wants. It's his team. And I'm not saying he shouldn't make that call. Yes, he's got people who advise him, but at the end of the day, he better feel good about this. He's not going to say, well, I really don't want to do this, but I pay Andrew Berry to be the GM, so he's telling me I should do it, I better do it, even though I want Schwartz or someone else off the board. We've seen teams that had 3 finalists go off the board before. The Texans did that 4 years ago. But the Browns go with Todd Monken, and the challenge for him, just like for McCarthy in Pittsburgh, now at least they've got Aaron Rodgers under contract technically until March 11, and maybe he'll stick around. Quarterback is going to be the key, especially when you consider the other 2 teams in the division have Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. The Browns and the Steelers need to figure out their quarterback situation. Deshaun Watson, he's under contract for 1 more year. Is he going to be a competitor to be the starter? Can he recapture magic we haven't seen for 6 years? Will Shedeur Sanders, who got one of the default Pro Bowl berths, a Tyler Huntley-style Pro Bowl berth for a Pro Bowl that doesn't even happen anymore, will he be the quarterback? Will they bring someone in from the outside? What will they do at quarterback? The defense has been fine. Without Schwartz, I don't know that it will be as good as it's been. Maybe they have confidence that they have enough great players on defense that they can find another coordinator to replace Schwartz if he doesn't come back. Again, that's one of the big threshold questions here. Will it be Monken in charge of the offense and Schwartz in charge of the defense? Will it be someone else running the defense? And will they finally start to get more out of the offense? That's the priority, really, in both Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Get more out of the offense. The defense, especially in Cleveland, is fine. They need to get more out of the offense. And ultimately, at the end of the day, a guy who's been coaching for a long time, who's been with a lot of different teams, has a lot of different experience, he's the guy that's going to have the keys to the franchise, at least as it relates to the locker room. But that's an important job. He's the conduit to the players. He's going to be the guy responsible for getting the most out of the 53 players and the practice squad that the front office give him. Will it work? It hasn't worked for the Browns very often, except the 2 years they made it to the playoffs with the guy they just fired and got their first playoff win in Pittsburgh in 2020. First playoff win since returning to the league as an expansion team, frankly, in 1999. So, Todd Monken, congratulations, but it's not going to be easy. Look, none of these new head coaching jobs will be easy. Whether it's a bad team, whether it's a good team, there's going to be pressure. There's pressure on Joe Brady. There's pressure on John Harbaugh. There's pressure on everyone. Anyone who's in the NFL as a head coach has pressure, as evidenced by the fact that 10 jobs became open out of 32 this year. If you don't win, you will be gone. And Monken's going to have, as a practical matter, 2, maybe 3 years max to show that he was the right choice. If not, at some future coaching carousel, the Browns will be one of the horses looking for yet another head coach. And the end result of the Monken hire, 2 openings left. Cardinals and the Raiders, from 10 down to 2, but the Browns are the latest to hire their new head coach, Todd Monken, in place, and we'll see where the Cleveland Browns go from here. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.